Man, this brother.
Mommy makes me mash my M&Ms.
Gee, I didn't think you guys did that. I thought that was only for our choir.
No.
We used to do the sit on a potato panotis, sit on a potato panotis too.
The arsonist had webbed feet. Unique New York. Unique New York.
What did he say? What did he say on the outtakes on freaking the Anchorman? He said, the something tried to get a bank loan. What did he say?
I forgot. I know what you're talking about. Something needed a bank loan.
Gee, that cracks me up every time I see those stupid out. What is wrong with Will Ferrell, G?
Scotch.
What is wrong with Will Ferrell, G? In these crazy times, the world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 20th episode of the Word Podcast. I'm your host, Steve.
What's up, kids? Welcome to the show. My name is Dan Ramirez, and we're here to entertain you for the next, 2+ hours or something like that. Steph Foosh, what is cracking, my brother?
Brother, I am ready to jam, man. I am ready to jam. I watched some cool stuff this week. I think a few of the things you might not agree with me on, but I'm jamming. I'm ready to rock. How about yourself, G? How's your morning? How's your week?
Same old shit, man. You know what? It's not about this week, because this week was just like your standard, my busy week, as we've come to call it through the course of the show. So, not a whole lot to talk about. However, next week, big things coming. Going to Wondercon with my boy Mike. Gonna hit the city of Anaheim. It's gonna be a bro NATO up in that bitch. So Anaheim better get ready.
They are not ready.
No, they're not ready.
Are most of the people there our age or no?
You know what? Actually, it's a pretty good mix, to be honest with you. There's a little bit of everything for everyone there. Honestly, I'm telling you, I know that, San Diego Comic-Con's, where it's at. That's where you're going to get all the big shows. WonderCon over the years has slowly come up, and it's really becoming a nice substitute. You don't have to go out to San Diego. You don't have to get into these lines. You don't have to get into, there's still lines, but not like San Diego Comic-Con. You don't have to get online and sit there and go, am I or am I not going to get a ticket, months in advance. So I like it right now. Hopefully it won't. Not for a while, but I know it's going to bust out one day and it's not going to be as easy to get in. For now, though, WonderCon's the shit. It's my preferred California con, and I'm down because I needed a vacation so badly, sir, and it's time.
I was wondering, and this is such a me question, is it an age mixed crowd and a mixed crowd?
You talking culturally diverse or what?
Affirmative.
Yeah, man, it's like a love fest over there. I've never had any bad things happen over there. Never. I mean, how much are you down to get in a fight with somebody or something like that, dressed fucking Doctor Who or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question, it's very diverse. There's like I said, there's a little bit of everything for everyone there. It's very harmonious, man. It's one of the times, because you know me, I can talk a lot, but I'm not one to just go up and, hi, I'm Dan, and just start meeting new people. But you're in this communal setting where everyone is there for the same reason for the most part. And that's to have a good time. So people just naturally talk more. It's like going to a concert or standing in line at a concert and everyone's there for the same thing. There's lots to talk about, I've met so many great people at these cons, and I don't expect this year to be any different.
This is my last amazing year with a certain someone in the house. Well, depending on if he goes to city or not. So I was like, I need to take him somewhere, and I think he'd love WonderCon next year.
You should really do it, man. All you got to do is just, for anyone that's actually interested, just go to the WonderCon homepage, and you have to register for this thing. It's not something that you can just go and show up and buy a ticket. They actually send you their badge. Side story, fucking Wondercon has not sent me my badge yet.
I saw that. Now, so are you going to have to wait in line for your badge?
I'm really hoping not, man. But I'll be there, and I'm not going to let it, I'm not going to let it be. I imagine that most people got their badges because they were distributing online only. So there's probably just going to be a handful, which translates to probably a fairly long line of people that need to get their badges. I know it's there. I'm not even worried about it, but I was really hoping Monday's the last day. So if it comes on Monday, I am GTG, man. But if I have to wait in line, so be it. It's going to be a blast.
Now, as far as, not to get into your business, but how much are the hotels around there once you go to WonderCon? Like, what kind of prices are we looking at?
They actually have a special through WonderCon, and I believe it was like $209 a night, and you're staying like right there. So $209 a night is for, I'm sharing a room with my boy Mike. So it's like, they have nice rooms. It's the Hilton on one side of the Anaheim Convention Center, and then I believe it is the Marriott on the other side. And the rooms they're great. It's a huge party situation. It's a lot of fun, dude. It's going to be cool. And I think that 209 is not too bad considering like the quality of the hotel, location of where we're staying, and accessibility. It works. Oh, no question. Did you, cause I think I'm going to try, Airbnb if I go next year. No. You're doing it all wrong already. Look at you. See, look at it. Stop it.
The only reason I was going to do that is because a lot of older people don't know about WonderCon. And so if you get some of those are like $120 a night, and you just go to WonderCon, get an Uber to WonderCon.
See, what's good about this though is through experience, I have found that it's the best to stay on campus or near it because you're at one point like we're not like cheap or anything, but we're bringing our own beer, we're gonna bring our own food because that shit gets really expensive. There's this group of food trucks that hang out right there. I think I said fruit trucks. But that's actually, okay. You know what I'm saying, folks. Food trucks.
That's what they call it in San Diego.
That's what they call it over
LA,
there in Anaheim. Yeah. They call it fruit. It'll catch on later. But anyway, they've got like some amazing food trucks there. So I plan on visiting them a little bit. But, that all adds up. But what I'm getting at is it's nice because, you want to go back to the hotel room to kick it for a second. It comes in extremely handy, dude. Because I like to go watch the panels. And it comes in extremely handy to have that because maybe I got to go to the restroom or something like that. Or maybe I want to go grab a beer. I have my boy or whoever I'm with, my boy Michael sit there. I'll go grab a beer. I'll come back. He'll go grab a beer. You know what I mean? We save our seats that way because if you leave, then you kind of have to start all over getting in line for things. You can potentially, at least for the last few years that I've been there, you could basically just sit in the arena for the duration of how long, however long you want to be there for. But as long as you have someone to save your seat, you're good to go. So that's how we've been
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Why did you and your boy sound like a wine cooler though?
What do you mean?
Mike and Dan.
Mike and Dan's spiked lemonade. That's a reach, man. That's a reach. But I'll take it. I'll pimp myself out for some wine coolers.
Like a pale ale. Dan and Mike's. Hey man, can you give me some Dan and Mike's? You got that on tap?
I'm Dan Ramirez for Dan and Mike's Artisan Beer. Crafted with the finest hops.
I don't know. Maybe it's just early.
Since we're on this whole WonderCon thing, let me just talk about that real quick. I was going to bring it up later. Mm-hmm. I'll bring it up now.
Yeah, please. Tell me the panels you're going to.
I haven't actually done my whole plotting of my weekend yet. I just have there's a few little highlights that I've, kind of brought out that I'm going to definitely be at. But to the folks that might be there, to our listeners that might be there, hit me up on Twitter, man, or Facebook, something like that. Let's meet each other. Let's say hello. So if you're in the WonderCon Anaheim area next weekend and you want to say hello to your buddy Dan, hit me up on Twitter. We can take we'll meet. Let's go to a bar. We'll have a beer, something like that. I think it would be awesome to meet some listeners. But anyway, things that are expected for WonderCon this year, man. I'll be honest with you. I have seen some more exciting things over the course of the years, but again, I haven't really locked into my whole schedule yet. There is a Warner Brothers panel that I'm looking forward to where it's going to be Ready Player One is going to be there. So the actors from Ready Player One are going to be there. That should be dope. And they are rumored to show the Aquaman trailer because the Warner Brothers panel needs to get all the help they need with the DC universe.
Man.
And yeah, I've heard from several different, sources that the Aquaman trailer is going to be there. I don't know if Momoa is going to show up, but it's very possible. So that's exciting, right?
Dude. I would be really excited about that, dude.
Yeah, I think that would be dope to see that. And I've seen him in other panels before. He's fairly entertaining.
Oh, you got to see him in other panels?
Just on YouTube. I haven't actually seen Momoa in person.
All right.
Remember, man, I'm all about WonderCon. I don't get that Comic-Con shit. I'm apparently not good enough to get into the club. No, I thought that
he came to WonderCon. That's why the only reason I was like, oh, you've seen him before.
He may or may not have, but I've missed a couple of years in between just from work schedules and stuff. What else, folks? Let's see. There's a Timeless panel that's going to be there, Steve. Our buddy Malcolm Barrett, who plays Hoover on Preacher, is going to be there. And I was kind of wondering, maybe I should hit him up and see if I can get a little interview or something, like an impromptu. I don't really know if I'll be able to do that, but let's just say I think it would be interesting, no? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it seems like any interaction with homie would be.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat, and I'd kind of like to see what's up with him. So I'm going to try, folks, to see if I can get Malcolm Barrett to come onto the show for a few minutes. Maybe he can Skype me from his hotel room. I don't give a shit, but we'll see what happens. What else? Oh, Steve, you'll be interested in this one, man. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel is going to be there.
Oh!
And I actually signed on just for you because I actually do not watch the show. I'm going to start, because per your recommendation, you say it starts to get much better as the time goes on. But I'm so far back, I don't know anything. I think I watched the first 4 episodes of season 1. So, got a lot of learning to do. However, they are having an autograph signing session, and I signed up for that. So let me know if you need some autographs, brother, because I'll hook you up.
I already sent you who I want, man.
Which one?
You get I think I texted to you. I'll text it to you again.
Okay. Well, who is it? Are you going to keep the listeners in...
No, because I told you it
mystery?
would be good for you and I, because Adrian Padalecki's in it.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me about that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Since we like her in both shows, that would be great. But, shoot, dude. I'd like all of them personally. I'd like every single one of their autographs personally. But I know you're not going to just sit there for 18 years getting autographs. So,
well, truth be told, no, I'm not. But I did try, but I didn't try hard enough, man, because there was a few little specific rules on the WonderCon website where I was actually going to apply for a press pass. And I had up until February 5th to do so. But they were saying that our show needed to be on for, I want to say it was either 12 months or 18 months. And they were being very selective this year, so I didn't even really bother with it. But coming next year, and maybe even if you're interested, we could obviously talk about this off air, but if you're interested, I think that maybe we should try to get our shit together and head out to Comic-Con this year under a press pass. If not for just a day a day or two. We don't have to do the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. And, dude, I think I wish I would have gone, because I would have gotten Chloe Bennett's autograph for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would have got Elizabeth Henstridge, and I would have gotten Ming-Na Wen.
I'm going to get you out to these cons eventually, man. I know that crowds are not your thing, but I think you need to do this. And I really do think that you and your son should do this next year. It would be fun.
For sure. And, you're a guy that will just share a room with somebody, dog.
We're not sharing a bed. I'm staying. They're just sharing a room. But still,
I know.
I'm hoping. I did request a suite. I don't know if that's really going to go down, but I'm hoping that we're going to be in a suite, which would be even sweeter. Oh, you like that?
Oh,
everyone saw that one coming in a fucking cab down the street.
Come on, ba-dum.
But all right. What else? So just to wrap things up, like I said, there's not a whole lot. There's this show that's coming on AMC pretty soon called The Terror. Have you heard of this?
I have not heard of this.
It sounds kind of dope, man. I kind of like the premise of it. It's basically set in the 1800s, and it's about this Arctic, what would you call it? Here, I'll just read a quick little synopsis. The crew of a Royal Naval expedition searching for the Arctic's treacherous Northwest Passage discovers instead a monstrous predator. That's the whole premise of this show. It starts Tuesday, April 24th, by the way, folks.
Nice.
They're going to have this submersive... they're calling, an immersive experience that they're going to have there somewhere on the side of WonderCon. And from what I understand, it's you get to walk onto the ship, and they put, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it sounds pretty cool. It caught my attention. So I'm definitely going to check that out too. And it's free. So free is always good.
Free is fantastic. I don't know about you, but free is fun.
I will take free.
But it's called Terror.
The Terror, yeah.
The Terror. Mm-hmm. And it's not a time travel. They're finding a predator in the now.
I believe so. I don't know if it's going to be just this big sea beast or something like that, but it's supposed to be pretty dope.
Man, I don't think I've ever heard it called that, man. You make Leviathan sound even worse by calling them sea beasts.
Sea beast is good, huh? Threatening.
That's
right?
Why don't is there a movie called Sea Beast?
I don't know. Leviathan. I could have used Leviathan, but I don't know if that's what it is. That would be even better.
I think any sea beast is the Leviathan.
Is a Leviathan? Is that correct? What about Kraken? The Kraken, is that the same thing?
Is it in the sea because it could live on land?
I don't know. Now we're getting into
Kraken
mythology,
could live
but
on,
I don't know.
That was the one part of, what was the movie?
Clash of Titans?
Yeah, that was the one part of the Clash of Titans that I was like, dang, that thing is freaking a monstrous. I mean, when they said release of the Kraken, that thing came out, but they ruined it on the trailer though. I think it would have been way more shocking if they didn't show you the trailer or show you what the Kraken looks like on the trailer, and it just comes out of the water. You're like, dang. Other than that movie was not as bad as people said it was, but it wasn't great.
Are you talking about the original or the remake?
The remake.
Yeah, I kind of like the remake.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as people said.
I was expecting it to be much worse, but it was totally watchable. And then, of course, you got the original one, which is dope, but it's so dated now with its stop motion.
But it has a place in my heart. That's the only reason I like it. It's like, it makes me feel goosebumpy, which makes me know that my mom or somebody was watching it when I was younger, because little things happen. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that for some reason. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember like the owl thing. I was like, how do I know this?
That's Boopo, man. Boopo the owl.
Is it called Boopo?
I think it was Boopo. Yeah. I don't know how I remember that.
You got a good memory, G. I think we just watched it when we were little, man.
Well, that one I watched a lot, and it's kind of dear to me, man, because like I remember my grandma took me to see that movie. And then like afterwards,
come on, that's awesome.
We went to this toy store that was right next to the movie theater called Arthur's Toys, which was like my heaven. You know what I mean? And walked in there, and she like hooked me up with the whole line of the action figures from Clash of the Titans. So that was a special day.
Awesome.
Special day for your boy. I remember that. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to my nana out there.
Totally, dude.
So almost done. Check this out.
Yeah, because I still have some questions about Wondercon, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, then the last two things that I have, lightly researched, but I'm definitely going to check out is I want to see the Netflix Lost in Space series premiere. That's going to be a panel too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that, but I'm really excited about this one. It looks really good. It looks like they put some money into this, and I'm just hoping that they do right by it. I was never like an original Lost in Space fan, but if you watch the trailer, it's like a 2 or 3 minute trailer. It looks like pure dopeness, so I can't wait to get started with that. And then the other one this is the one that's giving me the most interest. It's actually a smaller panel. Did you know that there is a Kevin Smith biopic that's supposed to be coming out at some point called Shooting Clerks?
Are you kidding me?
I was just reading about this, and
gee, that should be a lead-off topic.
It's directed by Christopher Downey, also written by Christopher Downey, and it does obviously star Kevin Smith. I imagine Jay Muse is going to be in it, and most of the View Askew people. But what was said and I really wish I would have pulled that up. I actually pulled the wrong note. But what they're saying is they're going to do a panel about this biopic with a very, quote, very special guest. So I have to go.
Oh, well, come on.
I have to go, man.
It has to be Kevin Smith. Now, my thing is, they're doing this with Kevin Smith. I think they planned this before his situation.
Maybe so.
But he's in the area. That is insane that they're doing well, that's a good thing. That just means that we're, obviously we're not, but it means we're not the only ones that think that his life is fairly fascinating, dude. He has not gone through one, every director has some sort of drama they went through. There is no drama that Kevin Smith was ever linked with. Weinstein wasn't his fault. What has he ever been involved in?
Nothing. Matter of fact, that he was saying on the Ralph Report when he was like going over what happened, and I think it was on the second episode because it was split. The interview was split up into two. He was basically saying like, yeah, I think what was this quote? It was a Kevin Smith quote, totally, but it was something like, I guess he said something like, as long as I don't wake up with a dead girl, or for that matter, a live boy, then I've pretty much done it all right. You know what I mean? In other words, like he can go through life and he would be happy, he wouldn't be happy dying, but he's ready to accept that now. Mortality is like definitely on his radar. And he said that he'd be okay with dying now and feel like, how'd he put it? He said that he got to see his own wake essentially, which I think is pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Because all these people
very interesting thing to say.
Right. Because you drop dead, you don't know who's going to come to your funeral. I think everyone asks that question in one way, shape, or form at some point in their lives. He got to see that. And the response was just crazy, and he was like, yeah, so they more or less do think I'm a good guy. I lived my life honestly and didn't do anything dirty, and so I've done everything I wanted to do.
That's the thing, man. I haven't heard anybody come out saying, hey, man, Kevin Smith screwed me out of money. He's always been on the up and up. And I'm like, I think it's a lost. I mean, I'm sure there's many filmmakers that have, but I didn't just almost lose one. So they're not coming to mind. But this one is like, I think there's something to be said for someone who actually lived above the fray and did it his way and is still around to talk. There's something to be said for that.
I'm so glad we didn't lose him.
Oh, dude. Which is why I'm always going to when he makes a movie, when he does something, I'm watching it. Because there's the closest he's gotten to disappointing me was Yoga Hosers and Cop Out. That's the closest he got. I even like Jersey Girl. I walked out of the theater like, why did people not like this movie? Because it was very Kevin Smithy, and it was right up my alley then.
You know me, I watched it too. I sat through Yoga Hosers, and if that's not support for Kevin Smith, I don't know what is.
That was the closest I've ever walked, turned off the TV, been like, okay, I mean, that was a movie. It ended, it started, credits rolled.
Let's make no bones about it. It was a terrible movie, but it's Kevin Smith, man. I'm going to support pretty much whatever he does.
Speaking of a terrible movie, remind me to because you would say Yoga Hosers is a terrible movie, right?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay, put a little pin in that, and I'm going to talk about another movie people are calling terrible. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead with the Wondercon.
Wouldn't be Wrinkle in Time, would it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I have a little something to say about this.
Will do. But I can tell you that I know I gave my review last week, and I believe I called it Stinkle in Time, and then I said, I'm just kidding. I take it all back, just to let you know.
Compared to Yoga Hosers?
I'm not comparing it to Yoga Hosers.
But I'm saying that's a terrible movie, though. They're saying that's a terrible movie and Wrinkle in Time's a terrible movie. Certain circles are saying Wrinkle in Time's a terrible movie. And I'm like, okay, let's hold on for a second.
It's just a bad movie, man. That's the best way I can put it. I don't know if it's terrible. I didn't walk out of it, and I have walked out of movies before. Well, you know what? We'll get to it when you're ready to talk about it.
Yeah. But okay. If you, I know you said you didn't look it up at all. But is there, have there been any additional panels that people are like, oh snap, can't believe they're coming here. Oh my goodness, except for other than the ones that you've talked about? Because I'm very interested in, do they do I'm going to stand in line for 8 hours. I'm going to stand in line for 4 hours. I'm going to stay in this auditorium. Oh my gosh. How many auditoriums are there? What are their seating? What's the big hall? What's the small hall? What's that looking like out in WonderCon?
No, there's panels galore. There's hundreds maybe of panels, but the ones that I'm interested in for the most part, save the Kevin Smith one,
yes,
is all related to the arena. So you go in there where the Mighty Ducks play, and that's it. Like that's where the Star Wars celebration was.
That is humongous. That's bigger than Hall H. No, I've never been to Hall H. That's bigger than Hall H if that's where the Mighty Ducks play.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It's pretty massive, though. It's pretty massive.
But Hall H doesn't look that big to me because I see it on YouTube. Is that a big place?
I've never been there, so I can't tell you firsthand.
Oh, at Comic-Con. Oh, I thought you were in Hall H.
Never been to Comic-Con. That's what I was saying. I keep trying. Every single year I try, and I can't get in. They put you in a waiting... Yeah. I've told you this before, sir, but I'll tell you again. I don't mind.
I don't think you have. I don't think you have, though. Maybe we're just not that close, and you don't care to tell me these things.
Folks, we all know he doesn't listen to the show, so it's okay. We'll forgive him for this.
I listen every week.
Do you? Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. Can you please tell me the 4 things we talked about 2 episodes ago?
You don't know the 4 things we talked about 2 episodes
ago. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you.
That's what I'm saying. I listened to the episode so diligently that it literally almost destroys the episode beforehand because I listen so diligently that I concentrate on the episode at hand. I can't just think about every episode because it's so important to me every week to listen to what we just did, only to keep abreast of what we talked about so we don't repeat things. I got to do this sort of thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what podcasting looks like.
And that's also what bullshit sounds like, folks. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I love you, Steve. I love you, man.
I appreciate that, man. But oh yeah. So I didn't know that they had. I really got to look into this because in my brain, here's WonderCon. Oh, that's mean. I'm not going to say that. Yes, I will. Okay. It's the equivalent to Free Comic Day in my brain. And I'm like, oh, WonderCon, look at them.
No,
but man, the more you talk about it, I'm like, wait a minute. This thing is freaking humongous.
This is the 5th one I've been to, and it keeps getting bigger. You know what I mean? So,
but no one talks about it. Like online, I don't see people talking about it. You cannot avoid Comic-Con. You can't avoid talk about that.
This is true, and I like it. I like it that way right now, man, because that means that I don't have to fight people for the tickets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
I don't have to worry about that. But all you got to do is go to like #WonderCon on Twitter. It's all right there. You're basically getting a play-by-play of what's going on.
I don't like to harp on this, but can you give the listeners a bit of the different cons and what delineates each con? I know there's only like 4 or 5 that you are super familiar with or whatever. Can you tell them what different cons are about and which ones you're like, if you like this, you'll probably like that. That's probably up your alley.
I'll be really honest with you. I don't know if I'm the guy to do that with. My primary, experience with cons comes from WonderCon.
Okay.
Obviously, we all know what San Diego's like. What's the other one that I've been to? There's one in Sacramento, but I don't know if it's like necessarily in Sacramento all the time, but it was called WizardCon. I've been to that one before.
Oh, that sounds interesting. What's that?
It's just like Wizard. I think Wizard is like a comic magazine or, like a comic related magazine.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that's what it's coming from, but it was just a smaller con. It's the same shit, man. You walk in and it just depends on how much effort is put into these things. You know what I mean? Or how big they get. But you walk into this big arena and it's just like it's a huge floor of just geekery. You get your geek shirts, you can do your action figures, you can do like art, you can do autograph signings. Who did I see at the one in Sacramento? William Shatner was there.
Oh no, dude, that sounds really awesome. I'm sorry.
The Shat was there. Who else was there, man? I think John Barenthal was there. And I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I'm so blanking on his name, and I don't even know why I should blank on homie's name. But Greasy Boy. Daryl was there.
At Sacramento?
Yeah. Lots of people show up to these things.
Gee, that would be totally fun.
I'm hoping Stan Lee's going to be at this one, but I don't think he's going to be. I think he's not feeling well.
I would totally go to that one. It's closer. There's no, probably easier to get a hotel. I still get to see the people that are essential.
You got to pay $50 to see them.
Okay. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, you think they're just there? You think they're pulling these high-profile names to just stand there and sign autographs for free? Hell no.
I thought they did panels.
No. Well, some of them do. Oh, that's the other panel that's going to be there, but I don't watch the show. Fear the Walking Dead panel is going to be at WonderCon, too.
Here's what I'll tell you, bro. I would go to that one if you start watching it, you can now talk about going to that panel. That's just one to go to.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to go. Like I said, I tend to, on Saturday, I tend to stay in the hall like most of the day. Till about like 4 or 5.
That show is right up your alley, G. I don't know. That's a Walking Dead, I get it. But Fear the Walking Dead seems like after the first season, it seems like, oh, this is Dan's show. This is a Dan show. It
probably is. I think that I just got so burnt out on the last few seasons of The Walking Dead that I just had no desire. I can't watch it. They're, certain major character just died, and I have no feeling about it whatsoever. I just don't care about The Walking Dead. And Negan's still
there.
Yeah.
I was Negan.com.
But
now I'm like, how long are you going to string this out, bro? Like, how long are you going to, knowing that sometimes he's not even on the episode because you can't get him? He is a popular actor now.
Did you hear that he's like, there's starting to be association with him to possibly be the next Batman?
He would do a good job, man.
I think so. I don't know exactly all the story on that.
Great job.
But I did see a couple stories last week where it was just like, what if he did it? And he said he'd be down to do it. I'm all for it. I mean, I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's the shit.
I've always liked him. Yeah.
Me too. But I honestly think that they should have pulled the plug on The Walking Dead when Kirkman left.
Kirkman is not. He's not. I mean, because they even had a clip of him with the guy that we all know that does everything for everybody at every time of every part of every con of everything, called Chris Hardwick.
Yeah.
They had a clip of him saying, Chris Hardwick was like, and we're going to come with the awesome creator of Walking Dead. And they cut to Kirkman on the couch. He did not. I was like, he obviously doesn't really look like jazzed. He's not like jazzed to be there.
Well, didn't he? He did leave, right? Did I just make
that
up? Yeah, or he's not associated with it entirely like he used to be. Basically, they pulled like a Lucasfilm. They took the creator and they just kept running with it. And you know what, man? I just I can't get down with it. So more power to all the people that love that show. I'm not saying it sucks or anything, but it is not for me anymore. Where it started off, I couldn't stop watching that show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only on for the ride at this point. And I mean, that's why I'm just like, okay, if Daryl was there, I'd probably be chilling. I'd be chilling in Sacramento. I'd be like, oh, that was worth it. That was totally worth it just to meet Daryl. But if you're saying $50 for an autograph, I'd be like, I don't know. There's maybe 4 people on the face of the planet I pay $50 for an autograph for.
Who would they be?
Well, one. And
Stevie Wonder.
Of course. I would probably do it. I would definitely do it for Paul McCartney.
Okay.
I would definitely, maybe 6. I would definitely do it for James Taylor. But I don't see him doing that. He's so green. He'll be like, why would I charge you for this? I would definitely do it for Gabrielle Union because that means I'm within a few feet of her. I would definitely do it for, I think that's it because, Prince is gone.
Prince wouldn't get down with that shit.
Oh, no, he wouldn't sign no dag. People who have Prince autographs, I don't even know how they did it. Like, I'll be like, wait, he signed? You gave him something and he signed? It would be like, okay, you got this in 83 when he was first kind of doing his thing. But later on in life, no. But those are the only people that I pay. I don't even think I pay $50 for a Billy Joel autograph, dude. Elton John, I would. That's a weird distinction.
Mostly musical related, though, with you, I see.
Oh, cool. For sure, dude. Yeah, I mean, because these are people that, with this signature wrote other stuff. Like, in this, they use that signing hand to, this is what I wrote Blackbird with. You're like, oh, my God. I have his signature. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's crazy to me. And I think I just looked too deep into that. That's what I was like, even when I was watching Paul McCartney, I was like, and Stevie Wonder, I was like, I'm in the room with the guy who wrote Songs in the Key of Life. I'm in the room with the dude who wrote Yesterday. That's crazy to me. Is anyone else tripping out? And apparently, like 60,000 people were tripping out also.
I don't know. I really don't know if I'll pay for anything because I don't know who's going to be there. But it just depends, man. And I know she's not going to be, but if like Gal Gadot was up there, I think I might have to drop 50, get a picture with her, dude.
That is so. Now, ladies and gentlemen, send Dan some love if you're out there while he's going to Comic-Con. Send him all the appreciation and all the good lucks, all that stuff, because he's going to be having a blast from Thursday into Sunday. We're going to miss you, brother, but we're going to push out I'm going to try to know whatever happens. I'm going to send Dan some love, and we're both going to try to push out a show.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring my equipment with me. I've got this recorder now and, multiple microphones. So it's totally possible that we'll end up doing something. It might be a little slurry. I'll say that. It might be a little slurry.
Maybe you're in a bar being like, so there I was.
There I was, sitting there, waiting for me fishing chips.
What was the name of that restaurant?
Oh, God. Mick, I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the restaurant, but that shit looked good. Fish cakes? Come
on. G.
Come on. Talking about the wonderful, magical Mick C from the UK. I don't want to make a commitment to something that, I don't know. You're a night owl. I know that.
Oh, I'm going to be up all night, dude.
So who knows? Maybe I'll just bring, I have all my equipment, dude. Maybe we can just bust out a show from the hotel room and I'll be talking to you just like we always do. And I sincerely mean this. If you're in the area, if you're at Wondercon, please hit me up. I would love to meet you guys. So I know I'm not, I'm not fucking some celebrity or anything like that, but if you listen to the show, I think it would be awesome to come face to face and meet you guys. So please, the offer is extended, okay?
Dope. And if they wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that, Dan?
It's funny you should ask that, Steve, because I was just about to say this, and I'll go ahead and start now.
Dope.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello there. How are you? My name's Dan Ramirez, and I am from the Heroes of Noise. I am one half of the show, and I've got some contact information for you. If you would like to reach the show, myself or Steve, you can hit us up at heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. If you like Twitter, we're there too. At Heroes of Noise is where we live. At Dan Q Public is where you can get me. And of course, you can get Steve at SE_Hudson Music. We are slowly getting with this whole Instagram thing, but it's just, it's there. And if you want to get us on Instagram, it's at Heroes of Noise Podcast. You can hit us up on Facebook, Heroes of Noise Podcast. We have this Mystery Ghost Town account of Vero, and I don't even know what's going on with that. But please, if you want to come for the ride, Heroes of Noise Podcast, we are there too. All of this can be found at heroesofnoise.com. That's our home. We like it, and we plan to make it much better as time goes on. You can hit up links on there. You can go to our iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your show. That's where you can get us, okay? And you can actually, I don't even know if that made sense, Steve, but I'm just going to keep on talking. And so you can go ahead and subscribe to the show there. And please, by all means, I always ask this, and I mean it sincerely, leave us a 5-star review if you get the chance to. If you like the show, you're liking what we're putting down, we would really very much appreciate that. Lastly, you can get us on Spotify. We've been there for a while. And I'm trying to put the shows on YouTube. They were there last week. They were there. And now they're not there, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on. But eventually you'll be able to get the shows on YouTube too. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to start seeing Steve and myself, our lovely faces, as we plan on getting more interactive with the community, with our listeners. So stay tuned for that. I don't have all the details yet. Matter of fact, this is Steve's idea. So you want to throw in anything?
Look, here's the thing. We're going to be trying to show our faces, our sweet punums, a lot more on this show. Because, look, Dan's an objectively handsome dude. He's been called that from several people, and I have a feeling it would pull in listeners, being able to see that face, speak with those subtle tones and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and try to do that. And ladies, be ready. Ladies and gents, be ready to see that face in front of you.
This fucking guy. Just remember, on the other show that we have, the word, he told everyone I was a doctor, and I'm not a doctor either. So we'll just keep that in mind, folks. Don't get too excited. I know the voice is magical, but, It
is magical, dude.
I'm just kidding.
Brothers and sisters, I picked up a movie, and we watched a movie called Hollow Point. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the deuce is Hollow Point? I asked myself that same question.
I was asking the same question.
Exactly. It's a movie starring Patrick Wilson, Ian McShane. Do you know who Patrick Wilson is? Because you do, but you just don't know you do.
I definitely don't have the right one up, man. No, I don't. I'll just answer you because I don't. I thought I had the right.
Oh, you know who he is. As soon as you see his face, you're like, oh, snap. Because the whole time, she was like, oh, wow. Because I said, you know what? He was about to be Chris Pratt before Chris Pratt became Chris Pratt.
Patrick Wilson was in Watchmen, correct?
Yes. Everyone knows who he is. They just don't. And I was like, he was going to be Chris Pratt. But Chris Pratt became Chris Pratt. But he was on his way to be him. And I'm like,
shit.
And it sucks because the whole time she was like, I thought we were watching Chris Pratt. I'm like, yeah, the world probably was just like, oh. And this Chris Pratt just took the trophy and just went on to become Chris Pratt. So it's so weird.
It's kind of like he's like, hey, everybody, I'm Chris Pratt. And then Chris Pratt came along and went, here, this is how you do it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I just pulled him up. And I knew who he is, but I just pulled him up. He really does have like a kind of a Chris Pratt thing going on.
Totally, dude. Totally. And it stars Ian McShane, who I can watch read the freaking phone book. And I'm still interested. It stars John Leguizamo and Jim Belushi and Lynn Collins. Jim Belushi has he doesn't have a massive part, but he has a part enough where it's just like, you know what? I forgot Jim Belushi's really good. He's watchable if he's in the right movie. This movie is not the best movie. It's pretty much about a town, a small town that gets an influx of illegal bullets from cartels, right? Mm-hmm. And they're trying to be like, we can't have this in here because if once you get this here in this small town, there's no getting it out. And money gets stolen, so the cartel sends a assassin played by John Leguizamo, which was a surprise for me, which I was like, oh, snap, look at him, to kill everybody. And it's about Ian McShane and Patrick Wilson trying to stop this. And it's not a great movie, but it's one of those things where you're like, I liked watching those people on screen. That's it. If you like watching Patrick Wilson and Ian McShane and John Leguizamo on screen interacting and Jim Belushi, well then yeah, totally. Watch this movie. If you're washing dishes and vacuuming, yeah, watch this movie. If you're cleaning, your fans or reading a book or a comic and surfing the net, do that. Yeah, definitely. Because you can look up and be like, oh, look at Patrick Wilson and Ian McShane. That's cool.
So it kind of sounds like if you are a fan of Wilson, Ian McShane, or John Leguizamo, perhaps it would be best to watch a Patrick Wilson, Ian McShane, or John Leguizamo movie that they star in that's better?
You know what, G?
I'm just asking.
No, that's a really good, succinct way of saying it. Yes.
I'm kind of picking up this whole thing like you're not recommending this movie.
I'm not recommending it. I think you would like this movie.
I don't know, man. You're not selling it to me very well.
I mean, it's a movie where you're like, I watched it diligently, and by the end, I was like, oh, that was cool. I don't know what really happened or who did what.
Go ahead.
But and then they put in a stinger that you're like, oh, well, then I really don't know what happened. Like right when you think, oh, I get it. Then they put in a stinger after the part of the credits and you're like, oh, never mind. I don't understand what happened. Nope. Don't get it. But it's still fine. It's fine. I think you would like it, dude.
So if I'm on a plane,
like
a ingrown toenail extracted, or something like that.
Wondercon hotel room.
Wondercon hotel room. Yeah, yes. But okay, all right, I'm with you. Maybe I'm not sure about this one.
No, you
haven't quite sold me, Hudson.
No, I say have this on a split screen with another movie showing, and you would.
Or just not watching it all, maybe. There you have it, folks. The most the most unpraising praise that you'll hear in this show.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm gonna save the next one for later. And then I watched a movie. It's a show. It's like an anthology show called Monsters. It came out in 1988 to 1990, and it's like an anthology. Tales from the Crypt. But dude, there are some I don't know how the 80s and 90s knew how to be so spooky, G. Like they have there's a thing called Fever Man. It's the first episode. And what this guy does is people are able to bring their kids to this guy and he's able to extract their fever. But you can't go in to see what he does. You just hear a bunch of noise. So one guy sneaks in to see what he does. And not to ruin it for anybody, I'm not going to even say anymore. Let's just say that there is the grossest prosthetic they put on a human being that I have seen in many years. Obviously CGI wasn't available. So they just made people look gross.
Is it scarier than Wahlberg's penis in Boogie Nights?
Dude, I would watch Boogie Nights 100 times before I would touch that prosthetic before I touched this person in this outfit. You're just like, and they made him look wet and oozy, and you're just like, oh, that's right. CGI wasn't an option. They just had to make it, and it's just spooky ideas they come up with. And I forgot how creepy the 90s were. I mean, I'm like, who would even think of this? This is unsettling, man. So you are going to love this. This is something where like you and the queen could sit there and say, oh, this was fun. Let's go to the next one. Oh, that was fun. Let's go to the next one. Oh, that was, that it's like 19 minutes.
Where'd you catch this? On Amazon?
It's on Amazon. And it's it's a thing where it's just like, they're 19-minute episodes. Just a bunch of creepy stuff. And even when you first see the intro credits, you're going to be like, oh, because it's like I'll say it's a family, a woman walking in with her plate of food. She's like, hi, honey. How about, and then you look and she has 3 eyes growing out of her head. And all of them look like monsters. What's on TV? I'm sure we could find something, mommy. And the kid looks like it's just like, oh my God.
I don't know why that just triggered a weird memory with me. Maybe I have seen this. Or
I bet you have.
You said it came out in the 80s or the 90s or something like
80s,
that?
Yes,
so
80s.
It's very possible. The 90s were good to me, so there's a lot I forgot. But
it's
possible.
I love it. I love this show. Yeah, I really like it.
Let me ask you, is there any good wolf action in this one?
G, let me tell you something.
I knew it.
There was.
Uh-huh.
Bro, do you think I watched that episode, bro?
I doubt it.
It'd be like, I remember my mom telling me that I freaked out and ran when there was a wolf-like episode of Fantasy Island. A guy was playing the organ, right? And the girl was like, why aren't you looking at me? And he wouldn't. And she said, why aren't you? And he kind of had his shoulders hunched. And she pulled off his mask and he had a wolf face. And my mom was like, you took your blanket off, put things down neatly next to you, and just walked upstairs. like folded my blanket and it was like, okie dokie. And that's where I ended stage.
I want to know where this stems from, man. I want to know where this
I don't know. I think it's just, you're not supposed to have an animal head. You're not.
Yeah, but you got it bad when it comes to wolves.
Oh, dude, I don't like it
and
at all.
There's got to be something. For instance, I'm like deathly afraid of snakes, right?
Yes. And
I don't entirely know why, but I do remember it was the same uncles that took me to see The Exorcist. These are the guys that they're responsible for all of my fucked up things. Yeah. But I do remember at one point being behind my grandma's house where they lived, and there was like a snake in an alley. I remember that, and I think it was coming at me. I don't have. It's just this one vision I have. It's always the same vision. It's a memory, is what I'm getting at, and I know it happened, but I can't piece it all together. And I don't know if it's my little crazy kid mind just like blocked it out or whatever. But I have a feeling that they have something to do with my fear of snakes. Indiana Jones fucked it all up for me too. I felt like a real man can be afraid of snakes, so now it's all over, and I just let go completely.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Sure.
If we did a video. A Vero video.
Right.
Would you hold a snake? For the fans.
Sure. But I'm not going to like it. And it better not be one that'll bite me. Because then the answer is automatic.
Well, no.
I'll hold like a boa.
They'll bite you too.
I don't think boas bite. I think pythons bite.
No, boas bite. They have teeth.
Yeah, then I'm not holding it, bro.
Bruh. Okay, they can't hurt you though. Well,
they have teeth that bite. How do you figure?
Wait, I may be wrong. Hold on. Do boa constrictors... Why am I even going to look this up? Of course
boa constrictors crush their food.
Do boa...
So they can... So yeah, they have to bite it because they have to eat it. But I don't think they bite to kill. They crush
It's the first result. What are people searching for on Google? Why would this be the first result on do boa con have teeth? I'm like, oh, are you running into boa constrictors wherever you are at work or something? Like, are you looking at one of the offices and be like, hold on... But does it have teeth, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, before I became a supervisor at my facility, we actually have our building is right by a freeway, and then on the other side of the building is a reservoir, right? So one day I walk into work, and there is a fucking snake coiled up in the middle of the hallway.
Oh.
I think it was a rattlesnake actually.
Shut up.
I think so. I could be wrong because they're all rattlesnakes when they're that close to me.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was out. I walked because we can walk. There's a whole other direction you can walk in this building. It's just like a big square, circle, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I was gone. Like I didn't give a shit how many patients walked by that thing. I wasn't in charge. I was not dealing with that snake. We got it handled pretty immediately. But I'm like, nope, sorry. Look, here's the problem. There's a fucking snake in the hallway, and the kid's not going anywhere near this thing. So you need to get rid of it. So we got this dude named Al to take care of it. He was a man. He like trapped it and put it outside and set it free. I would have killed the shit out of that snake for sure.
Here's the thing. I have a terrible story to tell you if you're afraid of snakes. I had just moved into a new apartment complex. It was new when I moved, not new, but fairly new when I moved in. It was the one across the street from the church on Herndon and Milburn. There's that little, I don't know, North Side church.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They have orange apartment buildings across the street.
I know you're talking about not that the listeners know this, but the Mirage, right?
Yep, I moved into the Mirage apartments. So I was there, and I was taking a shower in my new apartment, and I felt something slide across my toe.
Oh, no.
And I looked down, and there's a snake sliding from my feet into the cupboard.
Fuck all of that. No.
And so, but it was only like it was like 2 feet long.
I don't care.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I called, and I was like, hey, there's a snake. And she's like, yeah, it's new ground, so yeah. And the dude walked in there, and he's like, okay, I got it for you. He had impaled it on a stake.
Good man.
I said, bruh, if I knew you were going to do that, I would have caught it myself. And he just kept walking.
He's all, but you didn't.
I thought...
That's my hero right there, man.
I thought he was going to send like a person that knew what they were doing. I'm like, gee, if I knew you were going to send Jack from across the street, I would have just done it my doggone self, man. But I thought that they had, don't worry about it. We'll send somebody. Otherwise, I would have I thought that they're like, oh no, we have snakes in this area, and so we'll just get rid of it. As a matter of fact, I'm almost sure if I would have called animal control, they would have probably said he just stabbed it. It could be animal cruelty.
Shout out to Jack from across the street, because I'd have done the same damn thing.
I would have got
if I would have even got enough courage to go near that thing. That's what I would have done.
I don't mind getting... Okay, so here's the information on boa constrictors. Boa constrictors strike when they perceive a threat. Their bite can be painful, especially from large snakes, but it rarely is dangerous to humans. They have a ton of like jagged teeth that hook in and pull.
Nope. I will hold a snake, to answer your question. If you can find one that doesn't bite, I will hold that snake. But I can't, dude.
I mean, a defanged one?
I don't like it. It's the whole like striking thing that it does. I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. That's my one fear.
Here's what I think we should do. Oh, I got an idea, Dan. Okay,
but just remember, there will be wolves involved on this episode.
No, that's what I'm saying. I will deal with a person dressed as a werewolf.
Yeah, because that's the same. Versus a live snake. Yeah, Steve, sounds like a deal. Boy, you really know how to sell it. Fucking crazy, man. Tell you what, I'm going to have you jump off of a building with no parachute, right? All right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off of a box and I'm going to go, like it's the same thing.
That is
Deal?
So funny, dude. That is so, you're right. Okay. I was going to say.
Steve can never be the host of Let's Make a Deal.
What would it take for me to do for you to get struck by a snake? Like they strike and you put your arm there.
The fuck am I, Steve-O? Nothing. I don't want this.
I think I would
give me money. Give me some money.
I think I'll do it. I might do it.
More power to you. I can arrange this. I can arrange this to make it happen, but no.
I think that's Vero waiting to happen, G.
Why would you want that? That makes no sense.
Because then I can say I got bit by a snake.
Awesome. Go walk around in the mountains. It'll happen.
Ooh, here's the question.
Well,
Tarantula bite or snake bite?
Tarantula bite.
Dang, I think tarantula bite. No, they hurt more.
I don't care.
Damn, Dan.
It's the physical. It's how they coil and strike. I can't do it, dude. I don't know what it is.
There is a science behind. They had a whole. They had like a video section about the science behind why we are unsettled by snakes, and they said a lot of it is because we don't understand their movements. Our brain cannot gather what they're doing when they're moving. And so they're like, that makes people real. When they're doing that sides, they're like, our brains can't quite understand what's happening. So since we can't make sense of it, it freaks some people out. Whereas like, you're not freaked out by a wolf, even though they're way more dangerous. Lions, even though they're way more dangerous, it doesn't unsettle you. It would freak you out if you saw it in person. But there's something that triggers, like that a snake triggers, that just is different when people are scared of snakes. Just trigger something. They don't even like them moving on them. When they feel it moving, they're like, oh.
Yeah, no, I get it. On Netflix, they have Planet Earth 2.
Yes.
And the very first, I think it's the first episode. Has to be, because I was like, I'm out. It was this, I think it was like the Islands is what it was called. And I don't know if it was the Galapagos Islands, but it was an island, a very remote island. And it was, there's actually been some funny like memes of this and everything. But what it is it has these eggs that are these lizards, these big, what do they call them? Like dragons? Yeah. I think they're the dragons. They go and they plant they bury their eggs that they lay. Mm-hmm. So when these they have to make it back to the water area. Right? So when they hatch and they come up through the sand, they have to make it through this big rocky area to go back to where the rest of it's weird how they know where to go, but they do, right? Yes. Anyway, the only problem with that is that there's nothing but snakes, predatory snakes that are waiting to kill these things and just like wrap them up and bite them. And if that doesn't show you my fear of snakes, like I don't know what does, because they move so fast and they're like just jamming up rocks. It's crazy, dude. Like,
they're like, for me, this is such a tangent, but I was going to go on a massive, trip, celebrating my 40th birthday. Maybe obviously not on the day of, but like go to like Sweden or Amsterdam or something like that. But I also was just like, I watched a video, you know how me in videos, those like touching videos that bring tears to your eyes. I saw one about a guy that was in a plane and he had just rescued, one of those small planes. He had just rescued a baby gorilla or monkey like a baby ape from poachers. And I was like,
okay.
I would want to be involved with something like that. I'd want to go and do something like that, where it's just like, this thing is alive because of me. Like, I went and saved something.
I'll tell you what.
Like, what's that?
I'll come with you on this trip.
Oh, that would be really fun.
However, if a snake is involved, you're on your own.
I don't think it would be. I think we would literally just be. Now, mind you, being that what struck me was you saved it from poachers. And I'm like, what are they willing to do for us not to save it? That was my only thing. But your boy throw them things, though. Your boy throws them things. So I don't know if they want to see me hand to hand.
Battling poachers?
Gee, I'll be hiding behind trees, man. Next thing you know, they'll be like, hey, Johnny, make sure you look that way. Johnny? Hey, Johnny's up in a tree, homie. I don't know if you got the memo.
You got like a cheap Toys R Us Black Panther mask on? I don't know, man. How many poachers are there out there that are named Johnny? I don't think there's going to be that many.
That's true. That's a very good. But I want to do something, instead of doing something for myself, I want to do something good. I want to actually walk away and say, I did, like, even if it's like, you're taking these, Antarctic animal, you're saving them and bringing them to the doctor or something like that. I'm like, why am I going to do something for myself when I could do something for something else? And so that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, enough about me. The last thing I watched is something that you've seen and you did a 3-hour podcast on, and boy, do I want to talk to you about this.
Damn. Oh, I wonder what it could be. Could it be that you finally watched something I've been trying to get you to watch forever?
It's called The Last Jedi.
My goodness, you actually
Dan, okay, look.
Uh-oh.
I liked this movie. I liked this movie a lot.
Okay.
That's it. I liked it a lot. Now, here's what
There's no but coming?
No. I don't understand the people that hated it so much, but I also don't understand the people that loved it so much. Both of those sides, I'm like, but I think I less understand the people that hated it so much. But I thought it was a perfectly fine movie. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing bad about it. You just walked out. Now, it's not going to give you the feeling, for me, that Force Awakens gave me. I mean, Force Awakens was just like, whoa, that was a freaking good movie. Even, I watched the first Star Wars, and I just walked out of that saying, holy crap, what a good movie that was. Only thing I didn't like on the first one was that Jabba the Hutt CGI thing. That was the only thing. And other than that, I was just like, now that's a movie. But this one, I was like, it was fine. It was fine.
So it didn't really, but now I'm not saying this is what caused it, because if you didn't, if you weren't moved by it, that's all good. I'm glad you liked it. But you also broke it up into 2 parts, right?
I did.
Yes,
break
folks.
it.
I just gave myself up. I already knew we watched it. We behind the magic, right?
There's behind the magic. Yeah. I broke it up. I left after. When Rey, when he was saying, "Hey, you're going to have to." Rey was telling Luke, "We're going to have to save Kylo Ren," and he's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." She's like, "Well, then I need him to beat or I need him to beat Snoke and all them." He's like, "No," and so she hands him the lightsaber, and he's like, "No." He's like, "Well, then I need to use them." I had to stop there, and then come back later. But when I finished it, I was like, it was a fine movie. It was perfectly fine. I think of Force Awakens, it is not. It is not that.
It was a very simple plot. There wasn't a whole lot going on with it. It was an escape movie, a chase movie, if you will. Mm-hmm. And it was, I'm Rey, I have to get Luke to come back to help me, but he's not going to. So now we got to handle this in a different fashion. And then, of course, Luke's reaction to it. Yeah. That was essentially it for the most part. And then, of course, the Rey and Kylo association, and of course
Yes.
the very short and unnecessarily short Snoke appearance, but there wasn't a lot to it, and I understand what you're saying there. But I think that as a piece to the puzzle, it just made everything so much better. For instance, you had commented last night that you thought that the Yoda part was a little cheesy. You thought he looked bad. But to me, that was magical, man, because it was like seeing, the last time we saw Yoda, and I'm excluding the prequels, he was dying. He died. And he was old, so when they, and then they went into the prequels and they did this younger CGI. They did a Muppet for episode 1. And it was just kind of stupid looking. And then they ended up going to CGI once he started doing battles and shit. And I just never cared for it, But they brought back the practical effects again. And to me, that was great. That made me feel something from my childhood. To see those two in that situation, and he's like, I'm back because I have to be, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have to make sure that you go and do what you need to do, or you handle it how you need to handle it. That was amazing to me, to have Yoda back like that. But you did not like that part. You thought it was a little cheesy.
No, the thing is, I know what they were trying to go for. I think they could have done it better. No question. Because
How so?
I think for some reason, I must have seen it. Because I remember what Yoda looked like. I remember a scene I was watching as a child with Yoda and Luke were like in a swamp or something.
See, and this is why I have to discredit your opinion.
Why?
Because you don't even know it's called Dagobah, is what I'm getting at. I know I'm
I do.
I'm
but
being
I
a nerd. I know that, but
I
it's
know
just
that
hard.
it was a thing that didn't. I remember what Yoda looked like. That's why, it reached back into my subconscious, because when I saw Yoda now, I was like, I don't like how this looks. Whereas if I would have watched that movie, I wouldn't even have taken account how old it was. I would have just said, that looks good for some reason for me. It looks good. I don't think this looked good. It just looked, it took me out of the movie. I'm going to have to watch the other ones just to see, okay, let me see if it takes me out of the movie like this one did. Or if it was just like, nope, still in, all the way in. I don't think Yoda is going to take me out of the movie like it did on this one, for sure. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm in. I'm still buying it.
I can't say I feel you, but I understand what you're getting at. But there's something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit that kind of, I don't know. I feel like it sort of reinforces what I'm talking about. But I'll get to it in just a second. But okay. So go on.
No, and I liked everyone. I thought Boyega did a good job. He was, I think they tried to jam pack a lot of different things into one movie. I think they tried to do a bunch of little, even though they all converged on the same story, so many tonal shifts happened that this was for a fan of the movie, which is totally fine. You're making this for a fan of the movies. I think that they should also take into account that some people will see this that aren't fans, because, when you make $1 billion, some people have seen it that have never seen another Star Wars, probably. They just went to see this. You know what I'm saying? And,
I get you.
But I just happened to see, I only saw the first one because I'm just redoing it all. But I thought it was I think I would have liked this a ton more had I not seen The Force Awakens or the first, I think if I didn't see the first Star Wars or Force Awakens, I would have really liked this movie. But man, the last two I saw were just freaking good, man. Like, they were really good.
It puzzles me how you can just jump around like that. You know what
because
I mean? Because you got to understand, this is the Star Wars saga. Like, it's meant to go in a certain order.
Yeah,
so,
but
with the exception of jumping backwards to do 3 prequels, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's a full story.
Totally.
I feel it needs to be seen that way. You know what I mean?
But I think that since, like, Star Wars is one of those things where it's such a part of the lexicon of, moviegoers that you almost know the story. Like, if it was a thing that you don't even know the story, well then yeah, totally do that. But if someone has, now mind you, you're not going to know like little intricate, like the Star Wars quiz I gave you. Obviously, people aren't going to be able to answer that. But people that haven't seen Star Wars really and that are 40, if I asked them run-of-the-mill story arcs, they would just know it because it's so part of American society now. So it's nothing like, wait, who's that guy? What? Who? Where? Why? I don't think that's going to be a situation. And so if it does not take away and say, well, this is a piece of the story that you didn't know about, if it doesn't do that, well, then the movie should be great because you know the pieces. Since you know the pieces, this movie should be, I didn't know all the pieces to Force Awakens, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, man. I even told you, I said, yo, what a movie. If you can do that there, you should be able to do that with all of them. If you can do that once.
I see Force Awakens as more of a, like, that's a good place to start, actually, if you haven't seen any of these, because it's a fresh start. Yeah, they're bringing back some old characters, but it's kind of like going, hey, this is that person that we're, and they do it's a very good way of explaining things to you. You know what I mean? Of reintroducing some people, whereas this one just sort of takes the lead and just runs with it.
Totally.
But I think, to me, I'm never going to agree with you in the fact, like what you're saying, but it's a whole different vibe for me. This is something that I've embraced my entire life. I grew up on it. I've seen these movies multiple times, and I do go into the interworkings of it and everything like that. So when Yoda dies in Return of the Jedi, that was a pretty big moment for me, you know what I mean? But to see him come back as the old Force ghost like that, because he's never Force ghosted before except for one little quick scene at the end of Jedi, that meant something to me. I actually found that scene really emotional to me. I mean, that's just maybe because it just brought the kid out. Do you know what I mean? It's just, Skywalker, you know, you dumb shit, Skywalker, you know, steal that same fucker, you know. So to me, it was kind of magical to me. That was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Now, and the thing is, like, I think that as for a movie maker, someone who makes movies, what they did in The Force Awakens that was so genius that made me know, okay, you can do this. They knew that maybe some people aren't going to be familiar with Han Solo and Chewbacca. But they did it as, if you are even tangentially familiar, I'm going to reintroduce them in a way that's going to make you be like, oh, it's the guys. He knew how to do that. Like, I'm going to introduce him because he's like, I'm not going to do some weird, you really have to be deep. And no, he's like, I know how to introduce somebody so that you dug it. JJ is that guy. He knows how to be like, oh, I'm going to tickle all the fancies. Watch this. He knows how to make he's a movie maker. He knows how to make you walk out of the theater thinking, I liked that movie. And still have fans of the thing say, I like that. He did it with Star Trek. Diehard fans still like that movie, and people that really weren't familiar like that movie. That's what J.J. Abrams is able to do. Not every director can. And it's not taken away from any other director. It's just not everybody can do that. Also, I saw Rogue One. I didn't like that. I thought it was fine. I didn't really like it, though. It was just like a fine movie. Like, I really forgot I had even seen it until I started thinking about it right now. And I watched that all the way through. And I was like, yeah.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. Now, Rian Johnson, I liked the things he's done. But when he first got this, I was like, this is an interesting choice.
As did a lot of people.
Mind you, I hadn't seen anything yet. I wasn't attached to the Star Wars. So whenever I heard it talked about online, it was a lot of the people that you would think are really, oh, yay, Rian Johnson got it. I'm like, yeah, because you like what he did. And it was all about what he did in his previous movies. You know, he's done movies that people really like, independent people really like. And so giving him a shot is a major thing, right? You know, right. We're talking about the guy, the guy that did Looper and he did Brick and, he did the Brothers Bloom and stuff like that. And it's like, this guy's going to bring, the independent sensibilities to the Star Wars thing. And I never understood how that was going to work. I was like, but I hadn't seen, I didn't remember many of the Star Wars. And so I'm like, it might work just fine. And I think it worked just fine. Again, that absolute hate for this movie that real fans are having, it made me feel like, well, maybe I just don't understand it. Maybe I just don't get this movie or get the sentimentality of it or the nostalgia of this whole thing. I thought it was a fine, totally fine movie, but there was like vitriol coming out. I was like, sure. I don't understand. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Did he do something that was like, that's not true? That's not true. Is there something he did that was like that?
There was a lot of that going on. There was like, fanboys saying that, oh, well, that's not how the Force is used. And, you're taking all of J.J. Abrams' work, and basically even Kevin Smith said it in a very friendly way. It was like a kind of he threw a lot of fuck you J.J. Abrams into the movie. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that J.J. set up that he didn't really follow through with. Ray's parents.
Wait. Kevin Smith said that?
Yeah, but he said it in the kind of he said he loved the movie. He loved the movie.
Oh, cool.
But he was acknowledging that it was quite obvious that Rian Johnson just basically threw out. Because from what I understand, I don't know how much truth there is to this. Excuse me. But J.J. Abrams actually had like a rough draft of all three of them. And then he ended up doing Force Awakens, and then Rian Johnson jumped onto this one. He took that draft and basically threw it out the window and did what he wanted to do. But there's still that third draft out there that I don't know if it even works anymore. But, now that JJ's taken back over again, maybe it's gonna be great. But I think this one was great too. And I actually appreciated the changes that he did. You know what I mean? I think it's just another side of the camp, and it's the same people like myself that grew up on this thing. They have certain expectations. You know what I mean? Even Mark Hamill.
I saw that where he had a little bit of disagreement about Luke Skywalker.
He had a big disagreement. He pretty much told him, I hate everything that you've done with this character.
He shouldn't have said that in public, dude. He shouldn't have said that in public.
Well, again, I'm going to talk about something right now where I think he kind of I think he sort of redeemed himself. Okay. But yeah, he said, I hate what you've done to this character, but it's not my character. Yes, it's me. I'm the actor that plays Luke Skywalker, but it's not my character. So that said, now that I've, vented, I'm going to do everything I can to dedicate myself to this character, to give you the character that you want. So he was totally professional and stand up about it,
Well, he seems like that guy. He seems like a guy. Number one, he's the only person on the Walk of Fame that I've ever known to get a star for one character.
Was it? I mean, I know that they definitely emphasized that because they had Harrison Ford there, the great public speaker that he is. And,
I don't know what else he's done.
George Lucas, but I mean, he also is the voice of the Joker.
True, but I don't think that that's going to get you a Walk of Fame.
No, but I think it's all encompassed. You know what I mean? I think that's
Luke
definitely
Skywalker,
another.
Though.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. But that's also his. But that's his second biggest role is the voice of the Joker. Like that's no joke. He is the favorite.
Oh, for
sure.
From the fans. Yeah, but I think he's one of the few that without the Joker, he still would have gotten this. With these movies coming out now, he still would have. And there's not many people that is love to Lucas, saying, "I made such iconic characters that these are the only things you ever have to do, and it will make you famous." That's crazy.
I mean, I don't have a list of all the stars or anything like that on the Walk of Fame, but I really can't argue that. I don't know if there is anybody else there. I have nothing to argue it with, is what I'm saying.
Well, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Like the Walk of Fame isn't what you pay $10,000, you get a star.
Sure.
It's not a big deal, but before it used to mean something. And I think Hamill, when it meant something, he would still be in the conversation. When it meant something, he would still be in the conversation. And again, I want to make it clear. I thought this movie was fine. When the people who loved it, like I said, I totally get the people who loved it. The people who hated it, I don't understand that. But the people who loved it, in my brain is like, of course they'll love it. I think, they're going to love it. Of course. That's the given. But the people that hated it, I thought they would be the people. And I didn't know how many people hated it that were true fans until I went online. I was like, oh, these aren't just run-of-the-mill, me's walking around saying they hated it. These are people that are they loved Force Awakens and hated this.
Yeah, man, it's on record. It's like the most, this is not an original sentence, what I'm saying, or original statement, but it is the most divisive Star Wars movie today.
That is crazy. Even more than Rogue One?
Well, Rogue One's standalone. You know what I mean? It's just either you liked it or you didn't. And yeah, they throw a few nods in and they put it into a certain time frame. It's literally right before Episode 4, A New Hope. Literally. You know what I mean? You could put those two movies, you could put the end of that one right on the beginning of Episode 4 and you have an extension. Mm-hmm. But so, outside of tying it in that way, it was a standalone movie. And it was fine. Like you're saying, it was a fine movie, but it's not one that I can watch over and over again. I think I am on my 6th viewing as of last night of Last Jedi.
Now, so have you talked to, that would be an interesting conversation I would love you to have, is if you found a person like yourself that are really into all the Star Wars films that hated The Last Jedi. I would love to hear that conversation. That hated it. Not just, it wasn't my favorite. That hated it.
Yeah, me too, Steve. I would like that as well. Because everyone that I've talked to that's close with me really liked the movie. I haven't heard any negative complaints about it out of my camp. My friends,
no, of course not. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how someone. That's why, you know what? I'm gonna look up a. Now, mind you, you already know. If I look up a podcast and they hated it, I'm still gonna. The whole time I'm gonna be like, why? What? Why that? Like, it's probably a bunch of little things that I'll be like, you got mad at that? It's not gonna change my mind.
For some reason, we always talk about this band, and I rarely listen to them. That's the weird part. But getting back to Metallica yet again, I think that this is kind of how I felt. You know, I loved the band, right? Mm-hmm. And then they put out the Black Album, or the album the one that you liked with Enter Sandman and all that. That was very negatively, you know, like, again, they gained so many fans, but they lost a lot of fans too on that one. Or at least they started to. But I kind of look at it that way, like, oh, you're fucking with something that was, like, you just destroyed my version of whatever it is that I loved about Metallica. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I think a lot of people felt that same way about Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay. I totally get that. So yeah, I saw that, and look, man, if you guys didn't like it, all the listeners that didn't like it, please email me, or, you know, email the show, or tweet the show, or leave a voicemail to the show, or tweet Dan.
Reach out.
Yes, okay. Do that.
You could smoke signal the show. You could sign the show. You could Morse code the show. You could put a skywriting for the show.
There's fried shrimp.
There you go. You just bubbled the contact information for Heroes of Noise. That's about all there is. So,
and so here's the thing, man. I really want to know what I'm missing with the hatred in this show. I mean, this movie. I mean, look, all the characters are just so lovable. How? Even like Snoke was. I mean, I liked Snoke. Mind you, I don't like Adam Driver. I'm not a big Adam Driver fan, but I think he nails Kylo Ren. And I mean, I think I think Kylo Ren's a really good character.
I like Kylo a lot. He's emo as fuck, but I like Kylo Ren.
I like that. There's a part, I'm not going to ruin it for those who haven't seen it, that I really didn't know which way it was going to go. I was like, is she right? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's true. Is Luke wrong? I'm like, when they were in the same room, I'm like, it makes you be like, oh, she was right. And then something changes. You're like, oh, this went devastatingly sideways. But when he said what he said, I'm like, of course Kylo would want that now. Why wouldn't you? I would. I'd be like, oh, wait, now I could be, you know what I'm saying?
I would do that. I care not about spoiling this movie because it came out in December. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
and if you haven't seen it yet, you're probably not going to. You know what I mean? But like I think you're talking about the throne room scene with the lightsaber battle, right?
Totally. After it was done, I was like, oh, she was right. And then he was just like, yeah. Now that he's gone, but then I said, of course, why wouldn't? That is the wise thing to do. You need a new guy now. And who better? And the fact that he was able to block out Snoke, give him wrong information, and do what he was. Do you know how dope that? In my opinion, in my brain, I'm like, gee, he's killing it right now. He's blocking and Snoke is literally saying, I see what you're about to do. I'm like, dang, he's blocking him, dog. He's blocking him. And I thought that was so cool. And I'm like, off that scene alone, how do you hate this film? Because you see his brain working. You see his brain working, his force working. And I'm like, dog. And when I saw that thing twisting around, I'm like, oh, he ain't going to do his boy like that, is he? Oh, he's going to do his boy like that. He's going to do his boy like that. And he did it.
Did he ever?
Gee!
I loved it. I was sad to see Snoke go, just because I thought they could have done so much more with this character. But again, money talks. And
But-
who knows
yes,
who knows how, if they could throw him back in, you know what I mean? I thought that he was going to be so much more important to this trilogy, you know what I mean?
Can he not Ghost Force?
I suppose he could, but I don't know why he would. He's never been, no one from the dark side's truly Ghost Force before. Force Ghost. Holy shit.
Is that a rule?
I don't know if it's a rule or not, to be honest with you. I just don't think it's ever happened. Now, I'm only speaking about the films because there is a huge fan base of people for the Clone Wars and then for Star Wars Rebels. Huge fan base. And there's a lot of shit that goes on in those and a lot of characters that have been in, books and things like that have surfaced into this. And so I can't even speak about that at all.
Yeah. Because see, in my brain, when he Force ghosted, I knew he wasn't there. I just didn't know how. When Luke was getting shot, I'm like, oh, he's somehow like hologramming himself into this situation. I knew it right then. And so I was just like, okay, cool. But then when I found out how he was doing it, then I was like, oh, wait, then Snoke can too. That's where my brain automatically went. I was like, oh, Snoke's not dead then. Because he could do that same jump. In my brain.
Well, the Emperor never did. So I don't know why he would, but it's possible. I'm really curious to see what JJ's going to come up with on this next one.
Gee, JJ's going to... Let me tell you what he's going to come up with. Amazing. Even though I heard the next Star Trek wasn't good. I haven't seen it. People were like, oh, they hated it. I was like, oh, word? I didn't think he could do
You're
wrong.
talking about the last one that came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how involved he was with that one. I don't know if he fully...
Oh, I thought he directed it.
Did he direct it or was it?
I don't know.
Simon Pegg. Didn't Simon Pegg write the script or something with that? I'm not a huge Star Trek guy, so I don't have all the knowledge on that one. But I'm pretty sure Simon Pegg had something to do with that.
Oh, really? Okay, well then that would make total sense, G. I didn't know that. Because I was under I never thought that JJ really does bad movies. And so when people were just like, that movie sucked, I was like, did it suck though? I'm like, no, we loved the first one and it sucked. Would you say it sucked?
Was it Into Darkness? I think it was 2013. Was it Star Trek Beyond? Which one was it? Oh, Star Trek Beyond. That's the one. Again, yes. I'm not really into it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was directed actually by Justin Lin. And it was written by Simon Pegg. Okay. So I think that I'm not exactly sure how much JJ involvement there was in this one here. Maybe like an executive producer.
When are they going to realize just once you get him on a string of movies, just don't let somebody take over after him. Just let him have it.
I'm looking at it more thoroughly, and no, I don't see any. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because again, I'm not a Star Wars or a Star Trek guy completely, but I don't think there was any involvement of JJ in this one. That was my gut instinct. I just had to check it out, and I just remember that Simon Pegg had a lot of involvement with this one, and I think that's where the bad script came from.
I see a through line. I see a solid through line. Like when JJ drops something off into someone else's hands, it isn't as good.
It's going to be disastrous on some level. Or someone just is going to love it. Like, I know you're going to be on board for anything Rian Johnson does now. Well, he's doing he's doing the next three movies. So yeah, I'm on board for that.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's doing the next trilogy that's going to be completely separate from the Skywalker family or anything. So yeah, bring it, dude.
Oh, I got to look up I wish I would have watched it before because I could see how the fan people thought about him getting 3 movies now. If they were just like, okay, we'll give him a shot. That doesn't sound like their style.
Right.
It sounds like they were just like, wow.
I think what it is that he got along so well with Kathleen Kennedy that I think she just handed the keys to him.
Jay.
She handed the keys to the kingdom to him.
There it is.
Again, I'm going to get a little more into that in just a second here.
All right, go for it. That's all I watched. What you watch, brother? And that's The Last Jedi. If you guys have not heard of that, you could watch it on several different platforms. You could actually purchase it, or you could rent it from iTunes or Amazon or anywhere else so you get your wonderful movie watching experiences. Go ahead.
That's correct, Steve. Coming up next. So yeah, I might as well go ahead and just segue into what I was going to talk about. I had it second in line, but since you just finished talking about The Last Jedi, I'm going to talk about The Last Jedi. So yes, I purchased it, folks. You can purchase it as of last week, and it's a great buy. Now, let me tell you, Steve, let me ask you a question. Do you buy a lot of DVDs, Blu-rays?
Negatory.
But when you do buy them, do you ever buy them for the special features?
No, I do not. I used to. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's use that then, because I get it. I don't buy a lot either now, especially since everything's digital. But when I'm sure at some point in time you've bought a movie and you bought it you were hoping to get some good special features, right?
For cheesy.
So I honestly, there's not a lot of movies that I've bought where the special features were anything to really write home about. And that is not the case for this one, man. They came so correct with the bonus features on the Last Jedi. I am so freaking impressed.
Nice.
There are multiple deleted scenes. There's easily over 2 hours worth of watchable, very watchable bonus features on this. They have just scene after scene of things that were deleted. Basically, it starts off, it has Rian Johnson talking about, I'm not even going to talk about The Last Jedi, guys. I'm talking about all the bonus features. I think they're that good that I wanted to talk about it. It starts off and it talks about, hey, we had this great movie and it was just a really, really long movie. And so obviously, like most movies, when it's time to, put it out there, there's things that you have to cut out. So they cut out all of these scenes that could have been it could have made the movie so much better to me. I'm not going to go into the individual scenes because I want you guys to actually go out and watch this thing. But a lot of people were talking about, hey, didn't Tom Hardy make didn't he have like a cameo in this one? He does. And it is in one of the deleted scenes. And it's actually probably the scene that I would have cut out of all of them. That's the scene I would have cut. There's another scene that's incomplete, but you could see what they were going for. And it's a really long, I think they're called Fathiers. They were those horse-like creatures that were on Canto Bite. You know what I'm talking about? Where they escape and they're riding those.
Oh, yeah. Well,
there's an extended
adorable.
There's an extended version of that. This huge chase scene that completely would have made me like Canto Bite a lot more, because that was actually my least favorite part of the whole movie was the Canto Bite.
Oh, that CGI was rough, dude. Oh.
I didn't really have a lot of complaint about the Canto Bite CGI. It was just the writing in that part and just that scene took me out of the movie. I think that they could have done something and kept the movie going in a better fashion. And I think now, after seeing the deleted scenes, they should have kept this stuff in here and worked with it, because they ended up turning that chase scene from, which is probably like, I would guess, I don't know, under 5 minutes, something like that. It ends up becoming, with this extra footage, probably like a 10-minute chase scene. So I get that it's too long, but it's amazing when you watch to see how much money just got burned. So many props, so many actors that are just not included in this here, but it really would have been awesome. There's another scene that has to do with it's like an alternate beginning. They cut it off and they say, there's a part. Do you remember when Finn wakes up and he's got all that shit, that water that's shooting out of him everywhere, right at the beginning, the first time you see Finn?
Yes.
So that's actually at the beginning of the movie, or it was at the beginning of the movie, and it was going to be like, he goes, "Where's Rey?" That's what he asked. The first question he asked. And then it cuts to Rey going up to Luke on that. It looked really good, and it could have totally worked. Again, I get it. They just had a long movie and they had to shave it down. But I don't know. There's some things that really should have been left in. There's a really funny scene that has Luke is like screwing with Rey. And those keepers, the keepers of the island, those caretakers. Yes. So it's a scene with them, involving them, and so she's up at the top of the mountain or the island with Luke, and she sees all these ships pulling up to the island. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's the poachers. They're gonna." I don't know if he said poachers, but something to that effect. And he says, "Yeah, once a year or once every so often they show up and they basically just take whatever they want at whatever cost. In other words, they hurt the caregivers of this island." And she's like, "Well, we got to stop this." He's like, "You can't stop it. That's part of being a Jedi. You can't do this. You have to stay here, and sometimes you just have to let things happen, even if it means that somebody dies." And of course, Rey's not standing for this. So this whole long scene of her running down the hill, running across the beach, and running into this island, the encampment of these caregivers. She kicks open the freaking gate, and they're having like this big, like, joyous ceremony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught that, but she was kind of pissing them off. They cut out so much of this part, but and it shows more deleted scenes too, where they're sizing her up constantly. They don't like her. And she's constantly pissing them off by ruining things of theirs or whatever. And it's just a really funny scene. She kicks open and she like totally stops this ceremony that they're having. And they're all just like looking at her like, what the fuck? And then Luke shows up a little bit later, kind of like laughing to himself, because he knew he just played her. He just played her just to like piss her off.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. And trust me, I'm not doing it justice. But guys, I'm not going to break down each deleted scene, but trust me, they are so worth watching. I was so impressed with the extra bonus footage on this. But what I really wanted to talk about is a full-on hour-and-a-half documentary that they included with this. That was brilliant. I loved this documentary. It's called The Director and the Jedi. And dude, let me tell you what. I think if you didn't like Rian Johnson for the movie that he made, you will at least like Rian Johnson for the person that he is. And whether or not you think he did the right thing, I'm not talking to you, Steve, so much as just people that may be not fans of the movie. Whether or not you think he did a good job with that movie, there's no doubt in my mind that you will appreciate that he at least had good intentions of putting love into this movie. This, dude, I'm telling you, this documentary, and I know it's, Star Wars, so I'm already like biased with it. It's directed by Anthony, I think it's Wonke, Wonke, or Wonke, and it was written by Ty Lee Cox. This documents the entire making of the movie from start to finish. And it reminded me a lot of like, back in the day when we were kids and they would put these movies out, they would always release something. I think it was on like ABC or something like that. And it would be like an hour-long making of. And I loved these things. They did them for, Indiana Jones. I loved these things. They even made books about like the making of them. And I had all that shit. My mom used to buy that for me. So this reminded me of that. And it's so well done. The music that they use in it, just to capture emotion, the love given to each actor. Again, talking about how, like the part about how Mark Hamill's like, I don't like this, but that said, I'm going to do the best that I can. They give him so much love on like being a good sport about that and really like trekking through that movie. And Rian Johnson is just like the best guy ever, dude. They make him out to look so good in this movie. He's such a nice guy. Like I would love to work for this cat is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? And everyone seemed to be that way with him. Getting back to Kathleen Kennedy, I think that they just clicked really well. She really liked him. It starts off at the wrap party, and they're up there and he's like, guys, I don't want to panic anyone, but I think we just made a Star Wars movie. And, Kathleen Kennedy's just like giving praise to him and the producer, Ron Bergman of the movie, who's also in it quite a bit. It features all the actors, very, just very, what they get, the footage they get, the interviews that they get with this, it all contributes to this just awesome documentary. And it's actually very emotional too, the way that they do a send-off to Princess Leia, or to Carrie Fisher actually. And it was, they probably had like hours and hours and hours of footage that they, reduced to get this movie. And they just chose all the right stuff. And the stuff with Carrie Fisher, man, it can like draw a tear to your eye. It's really, really emotional to me. The part about Yoda that we were getting at earlier, you see the crew all knowing that Frank Oz is on set. It's Frank Oz, man. And
he's a dude, yeah.
Yeah, he's Frank Oz, man. He's the Muppets, he is Frank Oz. And he shows up on set and Rian Johnson walks in and there's Frank Oz and he's just like his jaw, he's like in awe of this. And he goes up to him, he's like, thank you for being here. Or when he finally does meet up with he has Luke with him, or excuse me, he has Mark Hamill with him. And then Mark Hamill hasn't seen Frank Oz for who knows how long, probably since Jedi. And they have this really emotional reunion. It's just humanity, dude, in this movie. It's so well documented. And I really can't say enough about this movie. Like I said, all the way through to the point where they're all tired. They're trying to get the reshoots. They're trying to just make this work. All the travel put in, the detailing of having to build. I think they said they had 120 sets that they use in this movie. Wow. Some of them taking months to build, like the casino. It was like it was a big ass real casino that they built. They didn't show it in its entirety, but it's no joke, the detail that they put into this movie. And they just knock it all down and just start up with another one, and I really, again, I can't say enough about this, guys. If you buy this, do not sleep on this here. Watch it. Again, it is called The Director and the Jedi. And it is the best documentary that I've seen in a very long time. I think you guys are going to like it very much. Steve, I'm going to figure out a way to get this to you because you got to watch it. I think you're going to appreciate it very much.
Dope, Bruda. So tell them how they get it. How would the listeners be able to get a
Oh, you got to get it. I think Steve did a fine job of that. You can pick it up digitally on iTunes. You can probably buy it on Amazon. Go to your store. Buy it on Blu-ray. It's actually out on 4K, and if you have a 4K television, get it. It's worth it, I promise you. But yeah, it's everywhere. But make sure you get I don't know if they have like different versions of it, but make sure that you spend the money. Because I only spent like $19 to get the digital version, and it's all there for you. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Getting back to Andy Serkis. They actually break down, it's like a 5-minute scene. It's the throne room scene. His Snoke's End, if you will. And what they did was Rian Johnson was so impressed with his acting in this here that he actually just edited it's what it is. It's the final movie, but it's edited with his acting where he's got the dots on him, as you call it, and everything like that. It's called, I think it's called One Night Only, Andy Serkis or something like that. Just a quick 5-minute bit, and it's really interesting to watch that. You see like the amount of like physical acting that he actually does in this movie, you know, and combined with his acting, which I think he did a really killer job doing Snoke. Super interesting. So again, I could just sit and freaking fawn over this movie all day long. But what I'm trying to get at, folks, is every penny you spend is going to be well spent with this one. It is the best that I've seen in a long time as far as like bonus features go. Get it. I'm done.
Awesome. What else you been watching, brother?
All right. I got a chance, my friend, to watch Annihilation finally. And I liked it. I actually thought it was a pretty good movie. You know, the people in the UK are actually watching this on Netflix, but I went to the theater to see it, and I liked it a lot, to be honest with you. It's not the newest movie out there, but, you know, out of the bunches that are out right now, but it's still something worth talking about, I think. Directed by Alex Garland, written by Alex Garland, and also Jeff Vandermeer, and it's based on the novel. It stars Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Tessa Thompson, just to name a few. And also, speaking of Star Wars, you got Natalie Portman, but you also have Oscar Isaac. He's in this one as well. And basically, it's about a biologist signs up for a dangerous secret expedition where the laws of nature don't apply. That is a straight-up IMDb synopsis. What's going on with this one is Natalie Portman plays this professor. I believe she's a professor, a biologist. That's what she is. And her husband, played by Oscar Isaac, is a member of the military, and he goes off because there's this, let's just call it an alien happening that's going on here. There's something that's called the Shimmer that has taken over this huge plot of land and is growing steadily. They have sent team after team in there to try and figure out what's going on, and each team never comes back. It's just like radio silence the moment they walk into the Shimmer, and no one knows what's going on. So now we get to see it firsthand as Natalie goes in because she's got a vested interest now because her husband was one of those people that never came back. She goes in, obviously, to find him. And what she finds is it's actually a very beautiful display of mutants. You know what I mean? What am I trying to say? A mutation. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And a mutation. It's a beautiful display of mutation. What she finds is that, and I'm not going to give away the movie, but this entity, we'll just call it that, has basically kind of bounced all DNA from every living thing in this area that they've taken over. It's bouncing off of each other and just creating some of the craziest mutations that you could think of. There's some things that you could tell maybe it used to be a bear. I'm not sure, but it's now something else. Everything has like flowers attached to it. Because they, you know, again, it's just all of the DNA from each living thing has just sort of crossbred with each other. And it's just crazy. I thought that it was very well done. I will say it's a little bit of a slow burn. It takes a while to really kind of get to the point of what's going on with it. And, you know, it's not the best movie I've seen, but it's certainly not the worst. And it's certainly watchable. I would definitely check out Annihilation. Just some very interesting takes on mutations. And I don't know if it's necessarily a plot twist, but this movie leaves you, there's not a lot I want to say because there's certain things, specific things that happen that could lead you to maybe come to a conclusion without watching it. And I think that if you see the end of this movie, you've got the main idea, like, okay, I think this is what's happening. I'm pretty sure that this is what's happening, but it could be something completely different. I don't know if they're going to end up making this a sequel. I think they should leave it alone personally, but it leaves you with a, did this happen or didn't it happen kind of a feeling. And it all makes sense, I promise you. But there's just certain aspects of it that I don't want to even... Okay, I basically listened to a podcast about it, and I was trying to listen to one that was spoiler-free, but I still got some things in it that I wish I wouldn't have gotten, because when I finally rolled up on it in the movie, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. I kind of wish I would have got that for myself and put it together. So I'm doing this on purpose. I'm not going to really talk about it very much more, but I will give it, you know, a high recommendation. Tessa Thompson's great in this one. Natalie Portman's pretty much always great to me, and as is Oscar Isaac. And then who else is in it? Gina Rodriguez does a really good, you know, she has a really good role. And then there's also Benedict Wong, who was in Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in it too. But only for just a little bit. But he has a pretty decent part, too. So, yes, guys, check this movie out, Annihilation. I'm kind of, you know, I wanted to see it sooner, but I'm glad I got to see it, period. And I think you guys will like it very much.
How was Tessa Thompson in it?
Tessa Thompson's great. I liked her role. It's a subtle role, you know. Lately, she's popping up everywhere lately, to me anyway. And It's a very subtle role. She's not like
cool.
She's not like what am I trying to say? She's not hogging the screen. You know what I mean? She's more of just an addition to the team that's there. But I liked her character, and I like what ended up happening.
Now I also heard that Tessa Thompson's in it. Is she? Say
what? Oh, so you just want to talk about Tessa Thompson some more? I understand.
Brother.
You know, this is not. Sorry, man. I was like, did you just hit mute and go to the bathroom while I was talking?
Don't break my heart.
I got you. No, man. No, I feel your sentiment with Tessa,
brother.
Yeah, she's not a show stealer in this one, man. But I like her role and the arc, her story arc is pretty cool. What ends up happening with her is pretty interesting. So
this is, to update everybody, this is Annihilation starring Tessa Thompson.
Starring Tessa Thompson, yes. The Tessa Thompson movie, Annihilation, starring Tessa Thompson and featuring Tessa Thompson. That's right. Yeah. For a second, I'm like, that son of a bitch walked away when I was talking, didn't he?
I really want you to get through this next review because you really were selling me on it this week. So what else you've been watching? Please tell the listeners what this movie is and why they should see it. Because I don't think a lot of people have heard of this movie.
As I was one of these people, man. And you know what? I'm really glad. This is just something like, what was I doing? I think I saw this movie on the Apple app for movies, the trailer app. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed very interesting to me. And what I'm talking about is a independent movie called Thoroughbreds, directed by Corey Finley, written by Corey Finley. It stars Olivia Cooke, who is going to be coming up in Ready Player One. She's going to be in that. And she's fucking great in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy from Split and The Witch. Do you know who I'm talking about? She's real pretty. She got like the kind of like big eyes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also it's the last movie, sadly. It was a bittersweet feeling about this one. It's Anton Yelchin's last role. So it was kind of bittersweet seeing him, but I'm glad I got to see him one more time. The premise is two upper-class teenage girls in suburban Connecticut rekindled their unlikely friendship after years of growing apart. Together, they hatch a plan to solve both of their problems, no matter what the cost. And I like that. I had never read that synopsis before, and I like that because it doesn't tell you shit about this movie. But that's pretty much it. Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor play high school friends that have sort of reunited, almost on a bit of a play date by their parents. Olivia Cooke has got some serious issues. You find out what her issues are as soon as the movie starts. And this is not really a spoiler because it's in the commercial for it or in the trailer for it. I still say commercial. Isn't that funny? It's in the trailer for it. And she plays this teenager that has no feelings. Like she's just a sociopath. Like there's nothing there. She doesn't feel remorse. She doesn't feel sad. She's never happy. She's just one face all the time. She does it beautifully, by the way. And she gets paired with Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who is Lily, and Olivia Cooke is Amanda. They get together from this, like I said, their parents are sort of putting them together. And through the course of talking and finding out about each other again, Lily finds out that Amanda is a little twisted in the head, and they talk about this plot that comes up here, and God, do I want to spoil this here? I'm just going to say that murder is involved. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. It's a murder. It's a murder plot, and it's very well done, man. It's kind of like, I was looking up after the movie. I was looking up Corey Finley. Put it this way, dude. I like this movie so much that I almost did my first video review to put up on Vero or Facebook or whatever. It's one of those, the whole sitting in the car talking about the movie thing.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm sitting in the car and people kept walking by me and they were looking at me like, look at this fool doing a selfie. And I was a little insecure with it. I admit it, guys. I was insecure with it. That. So I just didn't do it. I didn't turn it out. But I think I'm going to start doing those more often now. But anyway, I really, really wanted to talk about it. And so when I was looking at it on IMDb, I found out about Corey Finley. Corey Finley, this is his first major release. His main director credit is Thoroughbreds. And then he's written a short story called Sauna. And I think he played himself in something. It was called Celebrity Page. It was a TV series. But that's it. And I believe that he was like a playwright or he directed plays. That's like his mainstay, But that's where he comes from. And this movie very much plays out. Like I could see this being a play. You know what I mean? Yes. And it even has like acts. I don't know if it was like, it said chapter 1, chapter 2 kind of thing. But it's very much like a play. And it's just so well acted. These two girls do such a great job in this movie. And Gail and I went and saw this. It was like one of those, right after work, meet me at the theater. We're going to rock that movie pass. We walked in and saw it. And I had to go to work right after that. And I'm just so glad I did, man. It made my day that much better. Great, great movie. It's something it's unlike anything that's out right now. And it's got a very independent, I don't even think it's like playing everywhere, you know what I mean? But it's a very independent movie. It's got that independent movie feel to it, but it's just very well written, very well put together. Anton Yelchin does a great job in it. He's not in it that much, but it's still, again, nice to see him. You know, I was like watching the movie and I'm like, oh shit. Like it took a second, like he's dead. You know what I mean? Like it didn't click right away.
That sucks,
like, yeah, it was really sad, you know? So I did get a little bit bummed out about that, but it just makes me want to see what Olivia Cooke and Anya Taylor-Joy have in store for us in the future. I know Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be in Split 2, or what was it called? Glass is going to be the Split sequel. It's going to be called Glass, and I cannot wait to see that. I loved her in Split. And I'm really looking forward to the panel for Ready Player One now because I want to see more about this Olivia Cooke. She's kind of an amazing actress now, and I'm like sort of all about her. I want to know what else she's been in. I want to see her movies, but she just kills this role, and I loved it a lot. So again, highly recommending Thoroughbreds, guys. Check it out if it's playing anywhere in your town. It's a very short movie. It's like an hour and a half long. Totally worth it. I think you will like it very much so.
Dope. And what else we got, brother?
Last one we can break down together a little bit, I think. I came across this last night, man. I'm a little ashamed, as I put out on Twitter. I'm a little ashamed that I didn't even know this existed. And I watched one episode and immediately started blowing you up at like 1:30 in the morning. And did you get a chance to watch any of this before we start talking about it?
I watched 3 episodes.
Okay. So it's going to be weird if you have a different opinion, but I think that you liked it, but don't say yet. I fucking loved it. It's animated, man. And I'm not really into that much animation, but it had all the right ingredients. And what I'm talking about is Marvel Knights Black Panther. It's a 6-episode series. And I just think this thing is dope as shit. What did you think, sir?
I liked it a lot, man. I really had, like, as you can see, I mean, after the first episode, I would normally just be like, I'm cool. It took me about 3 minutes to get used to the animation.
Yes, me too. It kind of reminded me of like, I'm dating myself completely, but I got a real Johnny Quest kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It was that old Saturday morning serial animation, the way it's drawn. Yes. And it does take a little getting used to, but it's amazing, man. And apparently this series was broadcast on an Australian children's channel back in 2010. And then in 2011, BET got a hold of it and they were broadcasting it. So it was exclusively on BET at the time. But I'd never heard of it. You know, I'd heard of Black Panther. I'd heard of Black Panther prior to the movie coming out and everything like that, but I just never knew about this. And I was super impressed with it, dude. Like that. Did you get the feeling that this was not made for children?
Oh, it starts out with a fight in the, in like grasslands. And when they're getting stabbed, like you're seeing it. You're like, oh, this is not, I thought, okay, it caught me right then. I'm like, okay, this is for grown-ups.
Yes.
This is really cool.
They did a spin. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. But one thing I noticed is in the comments section, a lot of people are like, I used to love this show. I'm glad they brought it back and finally put it on YouTube. So a lot of people are already familiar with this cartoon. They're like, oh, it's finally good to see this come to the mainstream. I'm like, oh, so people did know and we're just looking for it.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, and we found it on YouTube, by the way. So it's all over YouTube. There are 6 episodes, and I think they're only 30 minutes apiece. So you could really just reserve a few hours and just blast through this thing. I'm on episode 3 myself. I will finish this probably this evening. I think it is super dope. And
it's good, dude.
I was just so impressed with the writing of it. And the thing is, guys, is they get real in this here. Like there's like legit racism going on. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. It's going back, you know, to like World War I times and things like that. But they are not pulling punches is what I'm getting at.
And I like this version of Claw better.
Yes. I was going to tell you, dude, Claw is the shit in this here. And I love his gadgets.
He's very persuasive. I mean, he persuades people in a way they're like, I get it. And in moments that you'd be like, well, that's the perfect time to get him. Them doing that right now would be the perfect time for you to try to persuade them to your side. Perfect.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen with this here. Stephen Stanton is the person that voices Claw. Jill Scott shows up in there as Storm.
Yep.
Let's see who else we have. Black Panther T'Challa is played by someone named Digimon Hounsou.
Yeah, you've seen Digimon Hounsou. He was from Amistad. He was the main dude from Amistad. He He was in, oh my gosh, what was that movie? He was a bad guy in, oh shoot, what was the name of that freaking, I forgot the name of the movie. He's a, dang, what was the, oh, hold on. But he was you've seen his face, dude. You've seen his face. If you Google his face, he was in Gladiator, Tarzan.
I got him.
Yes. That's your Jumman Hunsu.
He was in Stargate.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've seen him a million times.
Now I got it.
I remember him from Love Will Never Do Without You from Janet Jackson. He was that main dude.
Oh, shit. That was him, huh? Good memory, man. Good pull.
That's what I remember from. But yeah, and then we have Alfre Woodard. Come on. Alfre Woodard's in this thing. When I saw her name, I was like, yo, that is the dopest casting. So they had names in this thing, dude. I really liked it. I thought it was real. I can't wait to see where it goes because they're building. And they keep on building up to this is going to be a major fight, G. And I'm like, oh man, he's getting like the Claw's getting folks. Black Panther has folks and he has technology. So I'm very interested in how this ends.
Hey man, did you see who's playing Shuri in this?
Who?
Kerry Washington.
Shut up.
Yeah. And you know who plays General Wallace?
Who?
I don't know how I didn't get that, but now it's like, oh yeah, of course. Stan Lee.
Shut up.
Yeah, man.
They got Stan Lee.
They have a great cast in this here.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
You know, honestly, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put it out right now because, unfortunately, folks, it's my busy day. I am going to have to start winding the show down. I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to blame, you can blame Dan for this one here if you're enjoying the show. But I got to tell you that out of everything that I've watched this week, by far, this Black Panther, the Marvel Knights Black Panther, and of all things, the director and the Jedi, like stand out of everything I've done. I think all of them that I've done are actually pretty solid, but those are my two favorites of the week. And I'm planning on finishing Marvel Knights like tonight. But I am so impressed with this Black Panther series. And I think, Steve, that there's actually other ones too. I think there might be a Spider-Man one. And I think there's even a couple more. I'm going to have to research it. Because like I said, I literally just discovered it last night.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to watch as many Marvel Knights as I can. But I do want to know, do you know when that Spider-Man one that we saw, the animated thing on Twitter, is coming out? Damn.
You're talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to be with Miles Morales. I'm very much looking forward to that. And that is actually coming out.
I have never seen anything like that. I was like, whoa, this is
very,
different.
Very interesting animation, but I think it's another thing that's going to be very easy to get into. Liev Schreiber's in that one.
Oh, that I didn't.
He does it's all voice acting.
I'll watch anything with Liev Schreiber, though.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, brother. But
have
yeah,
you
that's
started
coming
watching? Out. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. No, I was just going to say, but that's coming out in Christmas of 2018.
All right. Now, we're going to do a lightning round, ladies and gentlemen, only because we're not pressed for time. We just want to try something new. We want to do a lightning round and see if maybe we can get through certain stories in a certain amount of time, because sometimes we sit on these things. So we want to get you as many stories so that you'll be at least familiar with what the people are talking about in the next week. Do you want to go for the first one?
Sure. Why not?
Go for it.
Why not? So, guys, Preacher fans, we got some good news this week, and I'm actually way more stoked now for season 3 because of this here. Because all last season, I was hoping this guy was going to show up. He never showed up, and now it's on. It's game time. And who I'm talking about for the Preacher fans is the Allfather D'Arqonique will be in season 3. The series AMC has cast Jonny Coyne as Allfather. And, the thing is, dude, I don't really know a lot about Jonny Coyne. Do you have any of his credits?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, he looks interesting. I don't know how they're, I think you and I both know, and any Preacher fan that has read the comic knows that the Allfather is this massive, obese person, massive. Doesn't mean that they can't do this to Jonny Coyne. He looks like he's got some meat on him, but he's definitely not Allfather status right there. So I don't really know what to expect, but I do know that I'm down to see D'Arqonique show up on screen. I'm
nice.
really hoping that Preacher's going to come correct this season, and will it be the last season? We don't know. It's possible. It's very possible. But they maybe this is the one where it's going to accelerate them. You know what I mean, into the stratosphere. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I do know AMC needs to get off of their ass and start promoting things a lot better, particularly for the show, if they want it to happen. But yeah, that's about it, man. Real short and sweet. We have Preacher season 3 has cast, has cast Jonny Coyne as Allfather D'Arqonique. I'm quite happy. It seems that the preacher community, all the congregation on Twitter seems to be very happy about this. So game on. I'm ready.
Nice. All right. Creed 2 starts shooting in Philly, and we have on-set pictures, and so I'm very excited about that. It's going to be good, I think. I saw Dolph Lundgren on the set. He looks older than he did, and I think it's going to be a really fun movie. They showed a picture of Michael B. Jordan, who is yoked out. And so I think it's going to be a good movie. Can't wait to see it. That's it. What's next, brother?
Boom, lightning round. Ding. All right, what do we got next, brother? We have Ava DuVerney has been set. She's been tapped. Well, let me break that sentence down, Steve. Would you like to tap Ava DuVerney?
I am not saying a thing.
Because the truth is,
not saying a thing.
He doesn't have to, folks. I'm going to spoil it. He would. Let's just say that's spoilers. All right.
What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. All right. So, yeah, that's the news this week, actually. Fresh off of A Wrinkle in Time. And I'm not going to bag on that movie because, that's just one movie. And Selma was good. And so she could totally, come back and hit this one hard. A lot of people are saying that Wrinkle in Time is not real great. I'm one of those people. But I'm not unexcited to find out that she's actually going to be set to direct New Gods from Warner Brothers.
I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of this thing.
New Gods is... I didn't really follow it, but this is where you're going to get like the Twin Planets, the New Genesis, Apocalypse. Dark Side.
That's big.
These are the characters that come from New Gods. So I don't really know. Yeah. I'm not going to front, and I never do front when it comes to comic stuff that I don't, that I haven't yet come to be educated on. But I do know that much about the New Gods. And okay, let's do it. I mean, that sounds great. You know what I mean? I'm down to see it.
We're going to watch it. We're going to be watching it.
She's definitely got a vision for things. I'm hoping that DC is going to give her what she needs to get this done. I hope it's not something that's sped up just for the set of it.
Yes.
I know that the production budget is $100 million right now. No. I apologize. That's not actually. I think that's what they gave her for Wrinkle in Time. So I don't really know what the budget's going to be for this one.
Okay.
But I think they're going to have to spend a pretty penny to get it up, like battling up against Marvel. I wish her the best of luck. I think she's a fine director, and I know Steve does too. But anyway, she is a very good looking woman. But
nice.
So it's on. Yeah, Ava DuVernay is stepping up into the superhero universe, ladies and gentlemen, to be the director of New Gods from Warner Brothers.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, so Bruce Willis is, Fox News. That's funny. Otherwise it'd be fake. Fox is still trying to get Die Hard 6 off the ground. They're still trying to get all this done. It's been falling through the cracks. They got a new writer. They're trying to make this. I don't know who this is for. Nobody's really hungry for it. He just flopped making... He was just in Death Wish, and that didn't do any money. So they're wanting to do Die Hard 6. And not only that, but they're going to make it so that's the throwback. It's a prequel to all the other Die Hards, where it's made in the 70s, where he's going to be a cop in a city. Like, he's going to be a city cop, how he turns into who he is now. I don't know why they're doing this, but they're really dead set on doing it. I'm not really looking forward to it. Probably going to end up having to watch it for the show. Not looking forward to it. Ding, ding, your turn, Dan. What you got?
That's all I got, man. I am done with the news. I will make a comment on that, though. I think I know the answer to your question.
Oh, please.
It's a fucking cash grab, bro. That's all it is. Can we get one more? It's like Fast and the Furious at this point.
Yes,
can we get one more
they're good. They got better with time. Die Hard's got worse with time.
I think Bruce Willis has gotten worse with time as well.
Dude. I didn't even see Death Wish.
No, and I don't plan on it. But as excited as I am to see Glass... I'm not expecting too much from Bruce Willis. And in fact, but the thing is that character from Unbreakable, he's a real, like when Bruce goes into his sedate, like kind of, I'm trying to think of something that compares to. Like when you first see him in Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
As Butch, just very, very low key and everything. And that's kind of like the character for Unbreakable the entire time. He's just experiencing all these incredible things that are happening to him. I think that he can definitely work in Glass, but I'm not really all that excited anytime I see anything starring. Like, I'm starting to put him into the Nick Cage camp, to be honest.
Oh, dude. Well, the thing is, he got famous for playing Bruce Willis and everything.
Yeah.
He is the guy. He just, as the guy from Moonlighting, slowly getting less and less excited about anything. And he's just being in movies like that.
He needs to get back to them Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler commercials. Remember that? Remember when he was like...
that's right.
He always had on Ray-Bans and he's playing harmonica and shit all the time?
Yep. Yep.
He needs to get back to that.
I'm done. Yeah, I don't really want to see. I'm not in the. It's sad because it used to be when I saw a Bruce Willis movie, I wanted to see it. Now, it doesn't even put up my antenna. I'm like, whatever. Just like you said, Nicolas Cage. We got through them all, ladies and gentlemen. You have just witnessed an amazing first lightning round, maybe second, but this is the first real one that we got through everything. Ding, 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 ding. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. But we have come to the point, and cue the Hulk music, where we're going to have to let you go. And not only that, but can you all wave goodbye to the awesome Danathan? He's leaving on a long trip, leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when he's coming back again, but he is leaving. He's going to be going to WonderCon, so we're all waving our hands in the air, saying goodbye to you, Dan. But we will see him again next week. And until that wonderful day, I will let Dan say his goodbyes until Comic-Con. You will not hear my voice anymore until the sweet, awesome next episode. We love you. Dan, what you got to say to our people?
What I have to say is I'm very excited to be going to WonderCon, guys. This is a vacation that I've needed for quite some time. However, I'm a crazy man, and I promise to be bringing back lots. I don't know what I'm bringing back for the show, but I'm bringing back something for the show. I may... this is probably a good time to start adding us on Facebook and Twitter and Vero and all that, because I think I'm going to be punching in little drop-ins and little reviews of things that I've saw. I think that's definitely something that I plan on doing. If you're into that kind of thing, you want to hear from me, then please do so. But even if you don't, whatever I bring back for episode 21 is going to be worth it. You know what I mean? I'm going to get the good stuff from WonderCon, and I'm going to bring it back for you good people. The exclusives, maybe breakdowns of trailers that I couldn't, video and put up for you guys to see, of course, because that's the con rule. But of course, I'm gonna break it down for you because that's the kind of guy I am, and I'm just really excited to be hanging out with my friend Mike. And this is a trip that, oh, by the way, I'm going to Disneyland too, so I get to do the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It's gonna be fucking fun all next week, and I'm gonna bring a little bit of it back with you, and I'll share it with you guys. So that's it for me too. For Steve Hudson, and my name is Dan Ramirez. We are the Heroes of Noise. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us yap for, 2 hours plus. We do love you. We mean every word of it. And that's it. So, until next time, I'm Dan Ramirez. Peace.